Hello everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Tonight's question: what happens when regret knocks at your door, but you only open it a thumb's width? A single mum accused of stealing is proven innocent. Her ex-husband and his mother arrive to beg forgiveness. And a quiet boundary, you can apologize, but you can't come in, decides what healing looks like. Stay to see how truth, dignity, and second chances collide. If this resonates, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next stories. Dusk folds the village into a soft, golden hush. The banyan tree holds the last light like a secret cupped in leaves. When regret finally learns to speak, will anyone believe it? The lane smells of wet dust and smoke. Dogs thump their tails once, then settle. Tin roofs click as the heat lets go. A man and his mother move from doorway to doorway, their shadows stretching thin across the road. His face has gone narrow with sleeplessness. Her eyes are rimmed red from words swallowed and words unsaid. Has Diep passed by? He asks. Don't ask here, a woman answers without looking up. You sent her away. Another voice from a gate. Too late. An old grandmother lifts her chin. Cruel, she says, simple as a stone. Don't ask any more. He bows, taking each rebuke like a cut he earned. The mother tightens her fingers around his. I was wrong, she says. If we find her, I will kneel. They keep walking. The village dims, edges blurred, as if memory were a lens that cannot focus. He tries to summon one clear scene. Deep, laughing, young, a child on her shoulder. What returns is not a scene, but a wait. On the old road, they stop under the banyan. Wind worries the leaves, a motorbike coughs and fades. I cast her out, the son says. Now she suffers. We will find her, the mother answers. But the road runs long and empty. Evening takes what color remains. They walk again, smaller, against the horizon. Hope thins but does not break. Drizzle reaches the fields beyond the village. The old farm waits, the tin roofs clatter, the ground breathes damp earth and rust. Inside the gate, Deep stands with her hands at her sides, listening to the rain tap its quiet code. She is not running. She is not arriving. She is simply here, somewhere between. A young CEO steps beside her, sleeves rolled, voice low. I found the truth, he says. You didn't steal the red book. She does not move at first. Relief touches her eyes, quick and shy. Then caution follows. And who did? Your husband was in debt, he says. He offers no pity, only a plain board laid across a ravine. You were wronged. Something lifts, but weight is stubborn. Her hands tremble. She does not step onto the board yet. Stay here, he says, nodding toward the small room, where an oil lamp waits, a table waits. It's safe, close to the village. Close does a complicated thing inside her. She nods once because nodding costs less than speaking. They cross the threshold. The room smells of wood and rain. The lamp finds her cheekbones, the hollows beneath her eyes. He sets a small bundle on the table, clothes simple and new. Try them, he says. See if they fit. Diep touches the fabric with the same care she uses for doors that might not be friendly. Gratitude rises, doubt stands beside it. They travel together now. Why are you kind to me? She asks, voice soft, edge steady. I want to help you rise, he says. Rise. The word is light and heavy at once. She has risen before, only to fall through a flaw disguised as promise. A learned voice whispers old warnings. Kindness can have a bill. Help can be a leash. She listens, because survival taught her to listen. She also hears something else, small but insistent. Maybe not this time. Rain deepens. "I'll leave you to rest," he says. "Lock the door, I'll check on you tomorrow." He steps back, careful not to crowd the room. For a second she sees him not as rescuer or threat, but as a person holding a lantern, forward, but a little away so the flame doesn't eat air. When he is gone, the quiet thickens. Diep stands in that first stillness after a storm, when even breathing is a negotiation. She slides the bolt. The sound is small and solid, and for now, hers. On the table, eggs cooling, boiled greens steaming, rice under a lid. She eats slowly, not to savor, but to teach her stomach the difference between now and before. Each bite pulls up images she did not invite, empty evenings, doors shut with final clicks, how a person learns to hold herself together without anyone seeing the stitch work. The clothes lie folded where he left them. She thinks of work, of the clean plank he offered. Tend the farm, earn a wage. She accepts the work, but not the money, not yet. "I need a place to stay," she had said. That is the truth she can hold tonight. She checks the window latch. The rain has softened to a whisper that sounds like language if you stop trying to translate it. The lamp draws a circle around her, small and warm. Outside the circle, shadow. Outside the room, the past the same size it always is. It will take time to make it smaller. Moonlight shoulders through a torn place in the clouds and spills across the threshold. Diep stands in it, not a symbol, only a woman in borrowed light. She listens for footsteps that do not come and for the old fear that does. She notices both and lets them pass. Trust is not a door you fling wide, it is a latch you test gently, night after night. She rinses the pan. The motions feel like stitching, small, repetitive, oddly brave. When she sits again, she leans back against the wall, hands open on her knees as if to say to no one, "I will not clench tonight. I will not be owned by what was." Tomorrow can be stronger. She does not promise it out loud. She lets the idea settle like a folded shirt on the table, there if she reaches, safe if she waits. The lamp holds, rain writes on the roof. The farm, for now, keeps watch. Night turns thin and silver. The rain loosens its grip. Somewhere beyond the hedges, a motorbike hums, slows, dies. Gravel crunches. A voice tries her name once, then again, smaller. Diep's back stiffens. She sets the bowl down without noise and steps to the window. Two figures at the gate, the son and his mother. Their clothes hold the road's dust, and the drizzles shine. The oil lamp throws her shadow across the floor. It reaches the door like it wants to go first. "Diep," the mother says through the slats. No command in it, only an ache. "Child, it's me." He stands behind her, hands empty, shoulders that used to be certain pulled in tight. Diep's palm finds the bolt. Memory speaks quick and loud. The day the house closed on her, the names that stuck like burrs, the last look that said go. She breathes. She does not open. "What do you want?" The mother swallows. "I was wrong," she says, each word set down like a brick on a shaky bridge. "I came to ask forgiveness." Silence presses between the boards. He clears his throat. "I believed a lie," he says. "I said you stole."
"I threw you out." The next sentence breaks. He tries again, course. "I was cruel." Something tight in Diep's chest refuses to move. The lamp pops. Wind threads the eaves. Behind her, the room is warm and small and hers. At the gate, the world that burned her waits with its cap in its hands. A new light spills along the path. The CEO steps in from the lane, a hooded jacket dark with mist, a file tucked under his arm. He takes the measure of the scene without stepping into the center of it.
"Is everything all right?" he asks, voice low. Dieppe does not look away from the door. "They came," she says. The mother turns, startled, then straightens, as if a witness requires better posture. "Sir," she says to the CEO, "I shamed her. I called her thief." He nods once. "She is not a thief," he says. He lifts the file. "I verified the accounts. The debt was not hers." The son's face folds. Whatever he had been holding back spills through, soundless at first, then one rough breath that shakes his frame. He bows, both hands open, fingers trembling. "Please," he says to the wood and to the woman just beyond it, "let me speak where you can see my face." Dieppe pulls the door a thumb's width. The lamplight falls onto wet lashes, a scar near his knuckle she remembers, the way shame changes a mouth. The mother drops to her knees on the step before anyone can stop her. The son flinches and moves to lift her, but she shakes him off. "No," she says, "let me finish what I started wrong." "Don't kneel," Dieppe says out of reflex, throat tight. "I must," the mother answers. "I threw stones when I should have checked the well." She bows. The old phrase lands with the weight of a lifetime of kitchens, births, funerals. "Forgive me, child." The son lowers himself too, knees to the wet wood. "Forgive me," he says. The words are simple and sharp. "I will say it until you believe me." The latch slides. The door opens the length of a hand, enough to let night air in, enough to let the apology out of the cold. Dieppe stands framed by lamplight in a shirt that is not yet hers, but has begun to learn her shape. She looks from the mother's bent head to the son's hands. She does not rush to lift either. "I hear you," she says. The sentence steadies her, "and I am angry." She lets the truth stand up beside her. "Angry for what you tore. Angry for how long it took to bring this small honesty to my door." They take it. They nod, faces wet. The mother says, "We deserve your anger." The CEO stays near the post, watchful, unintrusive, a steady thing at the edge of the circle. He speaks to the son without heat. "Make the truth whole," he says. "You told a story about her. Tell a truer one in front of the same ears." "I will," the son says. "Tomorrow, in the market, at the office, to the neighbor who repeats loudest. I will say I lied. I will say the debt was mine. I will say she did not take the book." Dieppe listen. A breeze runs through the room, touching the curtain, touching her hair, like someone blessing a house without being asked. "You can repair what you broke in public," she says. "But you cannot come in here." She places a hand on the doorframe. "Not yet." The mother bows again, accepting the boundary like medicine that stings and heals. "Give us a task," she says. "We will do it." "Start with your own words," Dieppe says. "Then don't speak for me anymore." The mother nods. The son nods. Neither argue. Some restitutions are money. Tonight's is humility measured over days. They rise slowly. The CEO holds the gate for them. No one says thank you. Some thanks would scratch too close to old habits. At the threshold, the mother pauses. "May I leave something?" she asks, lifting a small cloth bundle. Dieppe hesitates, then nods toward the step. The mother sets it down. "Rice cakes," she says, voice careful. "We made them when your child was born." The sentence breaks in two. She swallows and finishes it. I should have brought them then. Diep looks at the cloth but does not reach. Tomorrow, she says. We'll see. They go. The motorbike coughs back to life. Its sound dwindles along the wet lane. The gate clicks. Night settles again, not as heavy now, as if the air had been wrung and rinsed. Inside, Diep leans her forehead to the cool wood. The lamp hums. The room is the same size as before and somehow larger. The CEO steps closer, no closer than needed. I can ask the factory manager to sign a statement, he says. Debts, dates, ledger pages, no gaps. Do it, she says, voice quiet and firm. He nods. I'll also arrange the market notice. He looks at her, waiting for her to set the next line. And after that, she adds, let it be my voice or silence, not yours. Understood? The word lands clean. He sets a small tool on the table. For the shed lock, he says, stronger latch. You don't have to use it. It's yours if you want it. He tips 2 fingers in a small goodnight and steps out. The rain has ended. His footsteps fade. For a while only, crickets stitch the dark back together. Diep unties the cloth. The rice cakes are warm still, steam lifting like something willing to rise, even after being pressed flat. She does not eat, not yet. She wraps them again and places them in the cupboard like a promise set aside, until it can be kept without hurt. She blows out the lamp. Moonlight takes the room in its quieter hand. In the new dark, she feels for the bolt. Her thumb finds the metal and rests there, not turning, just feeling its weight. Trust will be a practice, not an event. She lies down, fully clothed, face to the window where the clouds are opening stitch by stitch. Somewhere beyond the hedges, 2 people ride home, rehearsing a confession. Somewhere on a desk, pages wait to be signed. Somewhere in her chest, a tightness loosens one small knot. Morning will ask for work, the field, the tools, the slow arrangement of a life that fits. She will lace her boots, she will taste the air, she will choose what enters and what stays out. She will not rush her healing to ease someone else's guilt. Before sleep takes her, she sets a single thought where she can find it. I am not where I was. The sentence hums like a final chord. Outside, the horizon holds the thinnest line of new light, and the farm, still fragile, still hers, breathes with her until the night is finished. Tonight, we leave Diep in a room that is finally hers, lamp dark, moon doing quieter work. An apology reached her door, but it did not erase the past. It set a path, tell the truth, repair what was broken, and let trust be a practice, not a promise. A warm rice cake can wait. Boundaries do not cancel love. They protect it long enough to grow back. If this story met you somewhere familiar, carry this. You may open the door only as far as feels safe and still choose hope tomorrow. Thank you for watching and walking with us. If the message resonated, tap like and subscribe for the next chapters.
Tell me in the comments, which moment moved you most? The latch sliding, the kneeling at the step, or the quiet line, I am not where I was?